I've heard of Rinseless Wash. I've never done it before. Where do I start?
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. Today I'm going to show you a very basic wash technique with a rinseless wash. The car is admittedly a little dirty. It needs a bit of work. We're here to do that for you, but we're here to talk to you about a rinseless wash. What is a rinseless wash?
Well, I was thinking about all the detailing that we consume and do, and we're so in the trenches. And then there's like 99% of the population who is not like that.
Yeah.
And they haven't heard of rinseless wash yet, even though we assume everyone's heard of our rinseless and our rinseless version 2 and every little product and video we've ever made.
Right.
Most people haven't heard of any of this stuff, Ivan, so let's have them in mind. What is a rinseless wash?
Well, a rinseless wash doesn't mean a waterless wash. And a lot of people confuse the two. A waterless wash, you're using a dry wash medium. This, we're using a wet wash medium. So we're using water on the vehicle. Now, the first step is getting the rinseless wash on the surface. We don't want to start with a pressure washer or hose to knock this dirt off, because when you're knocking that dirt off using a pressure washer, you're actually scraping that dirt against the paint before the water can get underneath it. We're gonna leverage the polymers and surfactants that are in the rinseless wash to emulsify, to break down that dirt, to lift it off the surface. Then when we go to pressure wash it, it'll come off a lot easier and a lot safer.
So why don't you demonstrate getting that rinseless wash on the surface?
Yep.
There's a lot of different ways to do this, but we teach chemical rinse chemical or foam rinse foam, no matter what we're doing in terms of detailing, as the safest wash method. So the chemical in this case is our rinseless wash. You can see Ivan is just laying it out there. You're not like saturating the panel. How are you doing this?
I'm getting the panel wet. I'm not soaking it. I'm not trying to use this like a pressure washer would be. I'm not trying to rinse it off the surface. I'm just getting it on there.
You're not asking this step to do everything for you. This is one of the steps in the process we've designed.
Right.
So the rinseless wash is actually lifting up the grit, suspending it in what? A polymer bubble, Ivan? You explained it super well, but
yeah,
essentially trying to make that rinsing step safer.
Right. What it's doing, it's encapsulating the dirt. So basically, think of it as the rinseless wash is giving the dirt a hug and lifting it off the surface.
I mean, we can see a lot of dirt there.
Yeah.
Right there on the lowers.
Right. And there I'll just put a little bit more. Now these wheels are very dirty. Even though the Mini, people think it's a British car, it's now a German car because Mini is owned by BMW. And it has the traditional BMW brakes of getting everything nice and black with brake dust.
Ivan, we're talking about a rinseless wash. Now you've got something else in your hand. Are we confusing people?
No, so I've got our all clean. These wheels, German brakes, they tend to get a little dirty with brake dust. So giving us a little more chemical action, and that's our all-purpose cleaner, diluted 15 to 1, with just a little bit of Incredible Suds in there to help break that brake dust down.
I will say, if you keep your vehicle well maintained, all you need is rinseless wash.
Right.
For the wheels. But
This
there
one
are
is not.
There are just times when all clean is our next step up in aggressivity.
Yeah. And let's just say this one, the wheels were not well maintained. Now that it's had sufficient dwell time, we'll quickly rinse it off, and then we'll apply the rinseless wash one more time. Now I purposely left the front bumper till last, giving the rinseless wash a little more dwell time. That way, any insect remains will be emulsified and broken down a little better.
I wondered about that because there's nothing that's an accident with you, and I was like, did Ivan miss the bumper? I can't wait to bring that up to him, but you waited till the end.
Yeah.
Rinsing is a real strategic thing. It's not just spray willy-nilly, right?
No, exactly. Next step, we're reapplying a rinseless wash to the surface. And if you're working out in the sun, this is probably the most important step here. If water dries on your surface, you have the risk of water spotting. If the rinseless dries on the surface, not a big deal. You get polymer spots that wipe off easily.
Now you could easily just dip a spray bottle in your diluted bucket of rinseless wash.
Yep.
And then just spray it on, right? With a 16-ounce spray bottle, whatever trigger spray you have at home. You don't need any fancy tools. This just makes it more efficient to get it all on there.
Right, and you can use a regular garden sprayer that you pump up. They're inexpensive and they're a little more convenient than using a spray bottle. But yes, a spray bottle will work. But you can pick up a little garden sprayer, a 1 gallon one for $10, and it will do a lot of work for you.
And then this little thing is what, like what is that noise we're hearing?
It's keeping the pressure up inside, so I don't have to pump.
And I'm noticing you're putting Rinseless wash on the wheels.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be the product we use to clean the wheels then.
Exactly.
So the All Clean was just the pre-treat?
Yeah, the All Clean was the pre-treat because we know these wheels are very, very dirty.
If this is someone's first time with Rinseless wash, they're looking at the surface, they don't see soap, all they see is what looks like water.
Right.
Why should they believe in the power of Rinseless wash? Why should they believe that it's safe and that it works?
Well, you know, Rinseless wash is very new to the market. It's only been around since the 90s. So it's not a new technology, not to worry about it, but it's starting to become mainstream. Professional detailers have been using it since the 90s. Now it's starting to become more popular for the average consumer.
It saves time.
It saves time, it saves water as well. Now, we rinsed the vehicle and people say, well, it's rinseless. Rinse less, not rinseless. So it is rinsing less, meaning we don't have to rinse after we do the wash. That's a very important part of this. The other aspect of it, it's safer because we always have lubrication on the surface. We don't need to use a drying aid, saving us a bit of time and a bit of money as well. Let's get these wheels clean, Nick.
Sounds good to me.
So these are wheels that I don't really like. There's too many spokes. I like to start at midnight and work my way around the wheel, and I always start with the face. We are going to be cleaning the barrels, but I like to do the face first, and the reason I do the face first is very simple. If there's grit inside the barrels, and I have brought that grit out of there, then when I brush the face, I'm going to be brushing that grit into the face. Whereas if I do the face first, then do the barrel, if any grit comes out, it won't be scrubbed into the face of the wheel. It will simply be taken away when I rinse. Now I said rinseless, we don't need to rinse again. On the wheels, we do rinse because of that additional grit. So I start at midnight again. I do one section. I'll roll my brush over to a clean side, do the next section, pull it out, dunk, comes out perfectly clean, and keep going around the wheel like that. And this is a 10 pico brush. It's a natural fiber. This looks old school because it is. They've been around for a long time, but they are probably the best wheelbarrow brush and safest that you can use. Now that I've started from the top, worked my way down, I'll do the same on the other side. There's a lot of nylon versions of this type of brush, but when you pull that brush out, you get covered in what was inside the wheel well, or what was inside the wheelbarrow. Now these front wheels are a lot dirtier than the back wheels were.
I noticed that.
Meaning we'll be dunking our brush a little more often.
What do you have in your wheel bucket, Ivan?
Rinseless wash.
That's very on theme of you.
Yep.
So I don't need All Clean in my wheel bucket?
No.
Ivan loves a 5-spoke design. He does not love a 700-spoke design.
Well, actually, my preferred is the wheels that came on Renaults. They were a 3-spoke design.
Oh yeah?
Less spokes, the better.
And then how often, I'm sure you're showing it, but how often are you redunking your wheel barrel brush?
After every 2 or 3 sections.
Okay.
Basically, when all sides are covered, that's when I redunk.
You know, most people have never seen their barrels, Ivan, but detailers sure love to fixate on them.
Yep.
It is nice to have clean barrels, I will say. We are detailers after all.
Yep. Yes, it takes a little more time to clean your wheels, but it's worth it. And we can see what came out of these wheels. The water is black on the ground. You can see that just running out of there.
Folks may have heard of iron remover. Where would you use iron remover in this process if you were going to use it on your wheels?
Right before spraying on the all clean, we would have sprayed on a bit of iron remover.
Okay.
But these were dirty, but not encrusted with rust.
Right.
We'll give the wheels a very quick rinse. Then after that, we'll be able to put away the pressure washer. We have some quick beads, Nick. I think that would be appropriate here. Quick beads will help the next person cleaning these wheels to have a much better experience. It'll make drying them a lot easier.
Yeah, like the name suggests, we literally have beads on there after you rinsed it. So it's just a spray and rinse product, adds protection. You could use it on paint or wheels.
We've pre-soaked, we've rinsed, we've soaked again, and now it's time to do the wash. Now with the wash, our preferred tool or wash media is the Legacy sponge. The Legacy sponge, you take it out of your bucket, you squeeze it. You just want it on the verge of dripping, and then you're applying the Rinseless to the surface and lifting off the dirt. And you can see where you've been. And there was a bit of dirt on this surface. So this is the traffic film we've taken off. We touch it to our Rinseless wash bucket. Now we have a clean sponge again. Now, the reason I have a towel on my shoulder, Nick, is if you're working in direct sunlight, at this point is when you take your towel and you dry the surface. So you don't let it dry in the sun, you dry it as you go.
Because Rinseless is its own drying aid.
Right.
The lubrication works in your favor. You're not putting any pressure on this sponge. Folks may be tempted to use pressure because they think it's gonna help them clean more effectively.
Yeah.
Your answer to that?
Pressure is never your friend. It's hard on you, it's hard on the surface, and when you exert pressure, you have the possibility of marring the surface.
What is marring, Ivan?
Very minimal scratching. Looks like you've dulled the surface.
Why do we have two sides of this sponge, and is there ever a time to use both sides of the sponge on a panel?
Yes, so the reason we have two sides is simply for tracking. So you start with one color, and when you've done or exhausted that side, you think it's too dirty to continue, then you flip to the other side that's clean, so you're not having to go back to your bucket as often.
So we're making it easy for folks.
That's the idea, yes.
There's a lot of Rinseless washes on the market, Mr. LaCroix.
Yes.
Why would somebody choose ours?
The technology behind it, so it's a hybrid wash, meaning it has both surfactants and polymers. That gives it a few advantages. One of the advantages is better cleaning ability, but the polymers give us a better feel, meaning that as we're bringing the sponge across the surface, it allows it to clean better and it glides a little easier. Now, you asked why two sides of the sponge. Another reason is you have a very dirty panel. So you're going over the panel, and you'll see this especially on a light colored vehicle. And then you look at your sponge and go, ooh, that's really dirty. Let me go back over it with the other side to lift off any remaining dirt from the surface. There we have it.
If you're just going about your wash and you don't quite understand what's happening, you may not notice this. But maybe I could show you what it looks like where you've washed a panel and where you haven't washed a panel. So I actually got this rear quarter here, and there are these sort of swipey white marks. And then if you notice here, it's kind of a tighter water bead. I haven't washed here, and in fact, I have washed here. So you see the swipes are a little less pronounced, but there's some dripping. This is just dripping. So I know that I've wiped now once I see the difference on the surface. At first, it's so subtle because you're used to soap that you don't actually realize where you've been. And then I actually find it works better once you have an eye for it. Now, I want to show you on these lowers. I'm gonna get this nice and dirty for you. You can kind of see that black in the sponge. And this is the magic of Rinseless Wash. All we do is we just dip this back into our solution, give it a light squeeze, and our sponge comes out clean again. To me, Ivan, that's all I need to know. I have a clean wash media going back on the paint. It's a safe process. That makes me feel really good.
So Nick, I'm gonna give you the drying blanket.
All right.
And I have our 2 twist loop towels. I like to have one in each hand, and it just makes drying super easy. And Rinseless Wash, you don't have a lot of moisture left on the surface. So having the 2 towels, one in each hand, allows you to move quickly. Each hand has something to do.
Boy, there's all kinds of different ways to dry, isn't there, Ivan? You can do the Instagram pull technique that I'm trying here.
Yeah.
You've got a different towel. I guess it depends on the towel. It depends on the conditions out. I mean, walk me through how to safely dry, towel technique.
Basically, you don't want your towels touching the ground or the tires ever. That's your biggest 2 concerns, because there can be grit on the tires, obviously, and grit on the ground. As long as you...
What about folding the towels and avoiding pressure points and not scratching anything?
Yep, that's great. Now, the Rinseless Wash is a great drying aid by itself, or drying lubricant. So folding a towel is always a good thing, but it's not always a necessity.
Yeah, I love the idea of, with a bigger towel like the drying blanket, anchoring up top, and that way no matter what happens, if the left hand falls off, there's no way this is hitting the ground. Or even if I'm down here, I'm anchoring somewhere with a upper hand, being very cautious that this does not hit the ground or the tires, as you said. So Rinseless Wash is its own lubricant. Is it as safe as our other drying aids or lubricants in the line?
Yes. It's designed to be that way. And Rinseless has a lot of other uses as well. You can use it to clean your interior. You can use it as a glass cleaner. You can use it as a clay lube. There's a lot of uses for the Rinseless Wash. And Nick, I think we have a couple videos explaining that. Which one do you think they should be watching first?
Oh, they definitely should be watching this one right here.